It's 6 o'clock, October 19th. I call this meeting of Santa Fe Independent School District order. The record show a quorum of board members is present. This meeting has been duly called. Its notice has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. And our first order of business, the board members are now going to adjourn to executive session as authorized by the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.001, concerning any and all matters permitted by the act. And should any final action, final decision, or final vote be required, that final action, final decision, and final vote shall take place in open session. And we are in executive session at 6 All right. I'm going to reconvene back into regular session. I want to welcome everyone to the meeting of the Santa Fe ISD Board of Trustees. I believe that this meeting needs to be conducted in an organized and efficient manner, and I'd like to outline a few ground rules. First and foremost, this is the board's meeting. Most of the discussion and all of the voting must be done in open session, but public participation by necessity must be limited to that part of the agenda that's reserved for public input. Occasionally, we may seek comment or clarification from an administrator in attendance or even from someone in the audience, and it's the board's prerogative to do that from non-board members as it chooses, and unsolicited participation from the audience is very inappropriate. At times, it may seem like we're voting on issues of importance with little or even no discussion. Be advised that all board members get a packet of background information about the various subjects on tonight's agenda several days in advance of actually coming here to participate in the meeting. After receiving the packets, all board members have and often exercise the opportunity to contact various school administrators to ask specific questions in an effort to better understand the issues on which we're expected to vote. Thank you for being interested in the school district. It's witnessed by your presence here tonight. We encourage your active participation in the educational process of your children. Appreciate your cooperation in helping us conduct the business of Santa Fe ISD in an organized and civilized manner, and I hope you enjoy the meeting. Okay, Mr. Davenport, would you lead us in the invocation and our pledges, please?
Yes, sir. Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight just to say thank you for everything that you've done for our district. Heavenly Father, we just want to ask that you give us the guidance and the strength to lead the district in the right direction and help us do whatever it takes to give the students the best education possible. Heavenly Father, we know that we have a lot on our plates, and we just ask that you just truly give us the wisdom in everything that we do so that we do it in your name. Heavenly Father, watch over us as we go our separate ways tonight. It is your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Add the two together. Okay, do we have any action from our executive session?
No, sir.
All righty, and we will move to some recognitions. Ms. Davenport, you going to handle that?
Yes. I don't know how to do it this time. We appreciate all our staff, our Santa Fe ISD employees who work to provide our students every opportunity to achieve and succeed in education. Please join me this evening in celebrating, thanking, and congratulating the following SFISD staff as they are honored as Employee of the Month for October. From Barnett Elementary, we have Desiree Johansson. From Hvac Elementary, we have Karen McLaughlin. From Woolham Elementary, we have Tracy Kubicki. From the junior high, we have Natasha Wolf. From the high school, we have Matthew Sees. Our transportation department employee of the month is Kendra Mattis. From maintenance and operations, we have Bobby Toll. From the custodial department, we have Margarita Hernandez. From nutrition services, we have Martha Delphin. And from the administration building, we have Jody Montemayor. Congratulations and thank you for your service to our students and the district.
Virtual is weird.
Yes, it is.
It's not the same.
It's just
I want
not.
to shake hands again.
Okay, our next agenda item is public comment on agenda items. The Board of Trustees will hear public comment on agenda items at all open meetings in accordance with the Texas Government Code, Section 551.007. Public comment on non-agenda items will be heard at the regularly scheduled board meetings in April, August, and December per our policy. And tonight we had no one sign up. I'll leave that for Julie. And we will move on to our information items. Dr. Wall, I think you have some monthly reports for us.
We do. We have monthly reports in your board packet tonight for review in our various departments, and I think we'll hear a little bit about our project updates from Mr. Atkins at this time.
How's everybody this evening? Real quick project updates on the new high school construction. Tomorrow, we are going to have students filtering through the secure vestibule. They were going to start today, but we didn't get the metal detectors moved, so we moved them today. They'll be opening that tomorrow. The second floor concrete will be poured hopefully into this week, but maybe next week. The roof decking should be here in a few weeks, and we're shooting to be dried in by end of November, 1st of December. So it's progressing on time, on schedule with a March open date. We're starting to put together our FF&E packages. And we've got good progress going on there. Also, the light poles in the front should be set in the next few weeks. They ran the electrical last week, and I think that's all done. So now they just got to actually stand the poles and put the lights on. So you'll see those going. And we put some cameras there as well. On the football field, we've reached out to our insurance adjuster and requested a meeting with them, with an engineer. Because of all the storm damage along the Gulf Coast over the last 2 months, they've been really, really busy. So we requested this a month ago. We requested 2 weeks ago. I talked to Tom last week, our insurance guy, and he's helping us request that. I still don't have a scheduled date, but we are pushing for that. And we're also pushing for FEMA to do some of that. And then we met with the engineer about the money we got from the state to do the storm inlets at the high school. And so we'll be getting a package together to get bids on that in the next few months, and we'll get that work going. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Bob?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any other information items?
No, sir.
All right. We will move on to our consent agenda.
Yes, sir. We have a few items, routine items for your approval and consideration and consent agenda this evening. Our minutes from our prior meeting, our accounts payable, and budget amendments for the month.
Any questions?
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve as presented.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as it was presented. No other questions? Julie, do we have the electronic voting? We have. Okay. All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? No, it is passed unanimously. Okay, we will move on to our regular agenda. And the first item is our board goals for 2020 and 2021. As most of you know, the school district, the board adopts goals that a lot of things then are built around a lot of your campus and district improvement plans and those things. And for those that look at the agenda items at our board meetings, most of those are tied to one of the board goals. We have done some review of the goals, and we are going to approve them tonight or put it up for approval. These board goals are somewhat of a document that is a living document that can be and will be adjusted as needed. I will tell you that we have a meeting planned probably in January. It's going to involve a lot of the folks in this room to talk about their plans and to tweak some of these things possibly, but just know that this is a living working document, and what we're doing tonight is passing the goals, or hopefully passing the goals that you have built these plans on. Dr. Wall, you have anything else you want to add on those?
The strategic planning process last year that we went through with a large committee of community and staff and students and parents involved. We're also involved in helping establish some of these goals. So would you like for me to read them for the group?
You can.
Utilizes, so proposed board goals to complete for 2021, utilizes funds in a fiscally responsible manner to optimize student educational experiences, raises awareness of how these funds are maximized to enhance student learning, provides effective modes of communication to disseminate information and obtain feedback internally and externally, ensures positive culture of high expectations for all students, staff, family, and the community, impacts student achievement positively through high standards of professional learning, provides strategies for literacy development for all students, develops collaborative partnerships with students, staff, families, and the community, and provides equitable access to technology for all students to increase engagement and learning.
Very good.
Are we straining by chance to the community?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just for the community, just when we've talked through these things, just want the community to know that these can be updated at any time. So as we see fit and as we move forward, these can be a fluid, living, breathing goals. So I just want everybody to know that these can be updated as needed.
What's your pleasure? Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the board goals for 2020, 2021 as presented. Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded that we approve the board goals for 2021. Again, any other questions? If not, all those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? No, it's unanimous. Okay, Ms. Ross, are you going to present the campus and district improvement plan?
And we're going to begin with the presentation first.
Good evening. I am Lee Townsend, and I work very closely with the operations department. And we're going to start the DIP with the operations. We have done a pre-recorded tape, so we're going to play that for you. But I'd also like to encourage you to ask any questions that you may have. And I would like to introduce the directors. They're here to answer any questions. Bob Atkins is the Executive Director of Maintenance and Construction Projects. And Chris Wheeler is the Director of Maintenance. Cherie Bowers is the Director of Nutrition Services, Mark McKinney is the Director of Transportation, and Alejandro Sanchez is the Director of Finance, and Heather Brown is the Interim Director of Technology. So we have put together a presentation for you this evening, and I'm going to follow the instructions. And so here is the list of the board goals. And the presentation will begin.
Hello. Here at Business Services, we are aligned with board goal number 2. Raise awareness of how funds are maximized to enhance student learning. We do this by communicating to all stakeholders by publishing presentations on the district's Business Services website. This includes important dates and did you know videos, amongst others. Also, we consistently audit and monitor our accounting and bookkeeping processes. This is done to maintain and improve our general ledger by creating internal audit controls and a monthly audit process for accuracy.
Board goal number 1 for the Maintenance and Operations Department is to continue to improve communication with campuses, staff, administration, and the school board about projects. We strive to do this by conducting monthly meetings with campus and department leadership to provide updates on projects, work order changes, and weekly tasks, while simultaneously ensuring maintenance and operations staff outline timelines to stakeholders. Board goal number 2 for maintenance and operations is to continue to work with campuses and outside organizations to maximize energy efficiency opportunities. Our strategy to complete this goal is to utilize continuous commissioning services through current BAS contractors, while also working with SACO and TASB in order to find solutions to reduce energy consumption and improve conservation.
One Yum Nutrition Services goal is to successfully transition the high school onto the federal lunch program. Our new serving lines help in the transition by highlighting fresh fruits and vegetables, which is a required component of a reimbursable meal. We're modifying a la carte sales to meet smart snack requirements. We're training our high school cashiers to recognize reimbursable meals. And we're creating accurate production records to confirm our compliance to TDA. Another goal for Yum Nutrition Services is to communicate the importance of completing a free and reduced lunch application. USDA has approved Santa Fe ISD to operate the Seamless Summer program for the entire 2020-21 school year, which means all meals are served free without an application. However, the district still needs to identify qualified households for funding. In order to reach these households, we're using weekly posts on social media, we're sending push notifications to School Cafe app users, and we're making personal phone calls in English and Spanish to households.
The Transportation Department supports district goal number 1, utilizing funds in a fiscally responsible manner to optimize student educational experience by focusing on safety with an accident-free environment, making safety of students and staff the number 1 priority, reducing operations costs to benefit the district, camera systems that ensure student safety, and accident mitigation features and seat belts. Goal number 4 ensures a positive culture of high expectations for all staff, is supported by the Transportation Department, utilizing routing proficiency, monitoring on-time arrival and drop-off, and making sure students arrive in time to have breakfast and to minimize the travel time on the bus as much as possible. Also utilizing sonar data to monitor arrival times, route times, and the ridership.
One of the goals for technology services will be to continue to raise awareness of how funds are maximized to enhance student learning. One way we will achieve this goal is to stay in constant communication with curriculum and instruction, campus leaders, teacher leaders, students, and community stakeholders. Having this valuable input of how technology funds are spent, how it will impact the end user, and how it will be aligned to state standards will ensure funds are being maximized. Another goal is to ensure a positive culture of high expectations for all. It is our belief that we must first hold ourselves to high expectations, and in doing so, we have provided opportunities for all technology staff to attend instructional training to allow them to better assist teachers and students in real time. Technology staff will also have opportunities to attend traditional IT training to build on their current skill set. We also want to continue to provide equitable access of technology for all students to increase engagement and learning. One focus for this goal will be to provide clear communication to teachers, students, and parents about our current laptop program and best practices for device longevity. We will work closely with curriculum and instruction to develop a comprehensive one-to-one curriculum that uses a variety of technology that will enhance student ownership of learning and student engagement.
Good evening. Ms. Davenport and I are going to share with you our HR and PR priority goals for this year. Our goal, the first goal with human resources aligns with board goal number 2 about raising awareness of how funds are maximized to enhance learning. And one of our goals in that area is to monitor campus and departments to ensure that our staff is allocated and utilized to meet the needs of all of our students. As you know, 85% of the budget is staff, and so we want to make sure that we are doing the best that we can to utilize those funds in order to enhance learning for all of our students. And our expected result or impact is that we hold staff meetings periodically, staffing meetings periodically with principals and department directors in order to ensure that student requests and student needs are met. And we generally begin that in January. So we'll look forward to doing that very soon. Our second goal aligns with board goal number 7, which is developing collaborative partnerships with our staff, with our families, and with our community. And our goal in that area is to facilitate employee retention. We want to raise the retention rate in Santa Fe ISD with all of our employees. And that is going to be captured by us creating lasting relationships with our employees through onboarding and through employee recognition. We also promote a 2-year mentoring program in order to assist our teachers in developing the skills and the strategies that they need to experience success in the classroom with all of our students. And our expected result and impact is longevity. We want our staff, we spend a great deal of time, curriculum instruction, of course, does with professional learning, and we want to make sure that we are able to keep those employees here with us. And that's going to be measured through data collection, through our employee surveys, and lastly, through stay interviews that we conduct early in the spring with all of our employees in the district. And hopefully we will begin those in the first part of March. So now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Davenport.
Okay, the first public relations goal for this evening is aligned with board goal number 3, which focuses on effective modes of communication. And so as you can see listed there, we have many, many ways that we communicate with our stakeholders, but some of the ones that we've recently been focusing on and will continue to focus on are the SMS text messaging. We just launched that end of August, beginning of September, and that's for parents and staff members. And we will continue to publicize that and advertise that so that we have as many of our stakeholders opt into that as choose to. We've also expanded on our school messenger system. We are beginning to use the school messenger email feature with our staff. It's very similar to the Skyward email that we use with parents because you can schedule it. So for example, we've been using school messenger to schedule our Sunday evening reminders for our staff members to daily self-screen. So we send that out weekly to remind them that they have to self-screen each day before they come onto campus or into one of the district facilities. Another way we've started to communicate is we've added Instagram to our social media platforms. So we have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram now. And we continuously focus on the website to make sure that it's not only user-friendly, but that it has the most accurate and up-to-date information on there. So our expected result and impact with this is to see more followers on our social media accounts and to look at our school messenger reports that we can print out to make sure that our communication is reaching as many stakeholders as possible. And our next PR goal is aligned with board goal number 7, which is to develop collaborative partnerships with community as well as parents. So we will work with our businesses in the community and our parents to develop those relationships and those partnerships to help promote campus and district events, as well as highlight our students and staff. And our expected result from this will be engagement and increased attendance at events. One way that we do this, if you notice, we had proclamations, we had quite a few proclamations in October. So one of them was National Principals Month. So some of our businesses that we already have partnerships with advertised that and promoted that on their marquees. So we will continue to develop those partnerships and those relationships with our community members so that they can help us highlight our staff and students as much as possible to see all the great things that are happening in Santa Fe ISD. And I think curriculum's up next.
All right, I'm going to be concluding, and then we are going to transition to the principals who are here to review the campus improvement plans with you all. I want to let you guys know, though, for the sake of this, is that professional learning in your previous board goals, we actually started this journey a couple of years back. We've done several audits. The thing that's been great is through the long range planning process, which some of you sat in with us last year, we were able really to tighten up our focus on what we needed to maximize in terms of our instructional practices and then our student achievement goals. So with that, we've really refined it and we've broken our plans down, as you saw when you went through the DIPs and the CIPs. Of course, professional learning, it supports now the goal number 5, which our CNI team, we're going to create and we are currently creating and supporting professional learning systems to improve practice through collaborative culture of continuous improvement, resulting in increased student achievement. So I gave you some examples here. One thing that we went ahead and did in the C&I department is we have continued to take the long-range planning process. We've taken data, we've analyzed it, and we're doing like what we would consider mini audits and protocols. And as we're going through this, it's constantly giving us to the surface, rising to the surface, data that we need in order to make sure that we're really refining those particular programmatic goals that need to support all students, every diverse learner. So our professional learning is very important. Human capital is very important. So we are making certain now that our professional learning plans are supporting every specific strand within our department, every programmatic strands, from our special services, social emotional learning, PBIS, instructional technology, and beyond. And then, of course, literacy development is something that we conducted an audit, I think it was like 2 years ago. As we conducted the audit, we realized that literacy, we broadened the scope of what that particular vocabulary term meant. And forever, we kind of tried to paint it in a corner and say it was just about reading. Literacy is actually more than that. So as an entire district, we actually came up with, in that little icon or that little picture on the right, was the definition to literacy. And literacy has been our driving force behind goal number 6, for us to make certain that every student is getting a literate education as well through any and all of the contents. So as you can see here, a lot of our results that we're actually starting to see now, because it's an ongoing process, but we're really maximizing in terms of building the literacy for our adults and our adult learners so that they're maximizing and increasing the literacy in our student learners. So I'll give you a really great example. I would like to give a shout out to our special services director. The increasing literacy in all subjects through the trainer of trainer models. So there's currently a professional learning community going on right now at the secondary campuses and the elementary campuses. And our special services staff actually are training right now one another, and then our regular education teachers as well, in order to maximize their understanding of really how to specialize and customize and meeting those needs. So what it's creating right now is a lot of our co-teachers are actually becoming very similar to our instructional coaches, and that was our goal ultimately, but we're strengthening that right now. So through all of this, it is definitely maximizing and increasing our capacity. And so with that, I'm going to leave you with our SFISD mission and vision, and we're going to transition to Ms. Martin.
Good evening. I'm Destiny Martin, the principal at Barnett Elementary. And before I start, I just want to say that with all of our goals for every campus, we have sub goals underneath every board goal. So although we're going to have some main points we're going to talk about, we have goals for each one of the goals that the board has helped us develop, because y'all did it alongside of us. So to begin, some highlights. These are just highlights. A lot of these are things that we're really focusing on, but we have many, many goals that we're successful, that we're going to continue to focus on. So this will be just through the lens of teaching and learning, individual student growth. Our thought process is no student ever goes backwards. Every student moves forward academically, no matter where they are. We will fill in those gaps and pick them up wherever they're at and get them as far as we can throughout the year. That is what we do on a daily basis, is look at kids where they're at and find ways to move them forward. Also, learning designs. That is a fancy word for how adults learn together. So we are implementing many different learning designs this year within the PLC teams. So for example, 3rd grade RLA, they have a PLC team, and they will go through a cycle of continuous improvement where they will look at historical and present data. They will set goals. They'll set adult learning goals. They will then decide where do we need to where do we need to learn in order to just maximize student achievement? They'll learn together through many different designs of that, and then they will review it and reteach or have intervention or enrichment from there. So learning designs is something you will hear from all campuses tonight. And then also student groups is always very important. Our ASL students who are learning the language, and what strategies do you use to help those kids as they're learning the language and to improve academically, as well as our special education students and GT, social economic disadvantaged students, targeting all those kids every time we look at data to make sure that they're making improvements. In culture, we implemented the Barnett Best House. Our vision is building the best at Barnett. And this was, we piggybacked off of Woolham last year. They implemented the house system last year, and they had lots of good things that came about from that. And so we implemented as well. And this is basically through a researched program through the Ron Clark Academy. And it helps students, every student in the building, to feel like they have a place in the school. They have a connection with other kids, they have a connection with other teachers, and they really feel like part of a family, and that they can have an attachment to somebody. Within that, we focus on our 7 mindsets, which is our district SEL curriculum that is actually incorporated within our Barnett Best House. And one thing I wanted to share was that this year we are utilizing Classroom Dojo instead of communicating just via, if you've had kids, you've seen the folders that come home with a smiley face or something else. And this year we are using an app that actually parents can see as things are happening, rewards, points that they get, or sometimes not. But we've utilized that as a quick communication. Kids can share work, but they also, parents are to get real-time feedback on how their student is doing throughout the day. And I think Hvac Elementary and Mr. Payne is next.
Good evening. I'm Harold Payne, principal of Hvac Elementary. Great to be with you this evening. Let me start out by saying it's an exciting time to be a Hvac chief. We're seeing some great things happen right now, and I just want to say how proud I am of our teachers and the hard work that they are putting in, and because they won't settle for anything but the absolute best for our students. And that's what you want as parents that are watching tonight, as board members. You want teachers that just will not settle for anything less than best. I also want to thank our parents and our students who are come prepared. We know we're facing some challenges, and yet they're being patient with us. They're working with us. And I'm just thankful for what everyone is doing, all of our stakeholders, to make our campus great this year. So we're also focusing on school culture. Obviously, as our goal says, we want to focus on a positive culture that ensures high expectations for our staff, student families, and communities. We knew that we had some challenges coming this year with the new principal coming in. Actually, Destiny, I was one of those people that went home with the folder that did not have the smiley face so often. So we knew we had some challenges coming into this year with our culture, but I'm so excited to say that I believe we are actually ahead of where we thought we'd be right now. One of the matrix that we were looking at to make sure that we were taking the right steps with our culture was we wanted to see a 40% decrease in our office referrals this year. Well, through the first 9 weeks, we actually only had 2 office referrals the whole first 9 weeks of our campus. That was a huge celebration for us in our admin team and our office. And so we're already seeing some effects of that. Obviously, you would hope to see on house rally days, excitement from our students, from our teachers. But what excites me are the days when we're not in our house rallies, where it's a regular, everyday, just day at school. And yet our students are excited to be there. I hear from parents, I hear from teachers that our kids can't wait to be there. And one of the things I always say is we want to create an environment where our kids just have to run through the door to get there every morning. And that's what we're trying to create for our students. So I'm excited about what we're seeing accomplished there. That's happening because we're communicating our vision. We're using that language in our vision every day throughout our classrooms, on our announcements, on the walls around our campus. And then we're modeling that culture for our students. It's not just us telling the students they need to act in a certain way or they need to show those core values. It's our teachers modeling that for our students and saying, this is who we want to be. This is who we want to represent. And so I'm just so thankful again for our students, for our teachers, for our parents, and everyone that's helping to make a difference in our culture. And I'm excited. We will never arrive in our culture. It's going to be a continual process. But wow, I'm so excited about what we've seen accomplished so far just in these first few weeks. So our culture is definitely one of our goals that we've been focused on, but also we can have a happy school that doesn't focus on excellence, but that wouldn't be acceptable to us. And so academic expectations are the next step in that. And so you can see here that we focused on some main goals within that academic expectations. One of the things is our PLCs. We wanted to make sure that in our learning communities that we had expectations for where we wanted to go, what we wanted to accomplish, that our teachers knew exactly what a good PLC looked like. And so that was a focus. We were also focusing on our calibration. We've decided that if our leadership that comes from our admin team, our coach, our academic coaches, and then our team leaders, if they don't know what good teaching looks like, if they don't know what a good classroom functions like, then we won't be able to find that achievement that we're looking for. And so we're having a lot of conversations about calibrating that to make sure that we all have an understanding of what we're looking for. And then it all comes down to that individual student. How does what we're doing affect them in an individual way? And so we're spending a lot of time, as Ms. Martin said a moment ago, diving into the data and looking at how it affects each sub-pop group of our students. And not only that, but individually, how we can impact our students. And then building a culture of accountability. We're all accountable for our campus and what happens. It's not their students and my students or your students and my students. It's our students on our campus. And our teachers, I believe the conversations that we're having, the sessions that we've had in our PLC, we're paving the way for us to see some great growth and great success this year through that. So we have some lofty goals for ourselves. And our teachers definitely, we had conversations about that, but I told them, let's have conversations about shifting those at the end of the year after we've met those goals or didn't meet them, whatever we meet, let's have that conversation later, because right now we're setting the bar high and we want to accomplish those goals together. So thank you for your time. I think Ms. Porcho's up.
Next time I'm having a bad day, I'm just going to call Mr. Payne and say, hey man, let's talk for 5 minutes about the weather or something. I don't know. Just brighten my day.
A bowl or two before you get
Yeah,
up there.
I mean.
He's always like that. Good evening. My name is Michelle Porcho. I'm the principal at RJ Woolham. And Mr. Payne and Miss Martin have touched upon some of the same goals that we have at RJ Woolham. We do a lot of the same things. We have a community not only on our individual campus, but among our principal group as well. So one of the things that we are focusing on this year is our adult learning. And to ensure that that happens, we have about 5 core areas that we focus on. One you've already heard about is our weekly PLC. So this is where teachers come together and they focus on where their students are, what the teacher needs to do on her part, her own learning in order to help her students achieve their goals in their own learning. So that we have weekly PLCs. Also, we are continuously monitoring our adult learning. So what are our adults learning? How is it impacting our students? Ms. Martin talked about this already, but our learning design. So what is a learning design? It's basically what do we need to do as adults in order to help our students grow? So sometimes we're learning about how to better analyze data. Sometimes we're learning how to teach a concept differently. Sometimes we might be digging into a lesson. So maybe we taught one lesson one way, but we need to teach it a different way to help our students be more successful. One thing that we also do weekly, I meet with my assistant principal and our 2 coaches, and we plan out what will our PLCs look like for the upcoming week. We ensure that our teachers are moving through the cycle of continuous improvement in their PLCs. So we look to see where are each individual teams. We look at them individually, we set goals, and we plan out for the week. Not only where do they need to go next, but which administrator or coach will be in each meeting. So we are active participants in every single PLC meeting. So it's not just something we send our teachers off to do. We are active participants in that. And finally, we set clear goals. We always start with the end in mind. So where do we want to be at the end of the year? And then what is it going to take in increments throughout the year to help meet that goal? And that is something we look at after each assessment, as well as many assessments in between. So what do we want in the end? We want to get that A rating. And it all goes back to literacy, which Ms. Ross talked about already. So we've talked about our teacher learning and how does that impact our students. The first thing we need to ensure is that we have high quality initial instruction. And you can see on this slide, we focus on Lucy Calkins in reading and writing. We have our backwards planning design in math and our 5E lesson design in science. So we do believe that initial instruction is key to our students being successful. We also have a focus on individual student progress. So we have frequent data checks. We have daily small group instruction in reading and math. And at Woolen, I'm sure at other campuses, small group instruction is one of those things that's non-negotiables. It's something that we watch closely. We monitor it closely, and we also make a point to go into classrooms during that small group instruction to make sure the students' individual needs are met. And then we also look at our individual student progress goals. So not only how are we doing as a campus or a team or as a grade level, but also looking at individual students. Where was student A at the beginning? Where are they now? And where do they need to go? And what are they missing in between to get there? And then finally, just targeted instruction. It might look different. How we instruct our ESL students versus our special education students and our economically disadvantaged. So those are our two main goals for RJ Woolen. Thank you. Oh, and the junior high.
Hi, good evening, Dr. Wall and the school board. I'm going to put our two goals together and tell you that we want to reach that A rating at Santa Fe Junior High, and we want to make sure that we're being supportive and collaborative while we do it. So I'm going to address our student achievement goal a little bit more specifically, and then our school culture goal as well. So at Santa Fe Junior High, the way we're going to demonstrate student achievement is that we want to raise every area of STAR tested groups by 10 percentage points with a minimum of 80% of our students meeting the approaches standard on the STAR test. Some of the ways that we're doing that, we've implemented a new lesson plan template at Santa Fe Junior High where all of our teachers are submitting all their lessons on the same template, and it's on display if you ever come out and visit us. When you come out and visit us, I've already seen several of you around, that you are able to look at the lesson plans before you walk into classrooms and know exactly what's going on in our classrooms. We also focus that lesson plan on some rigorous learning in the classroom to where our PLCs are planning out actually what higher level questioning they're going to be doing in the classroom and things to make sure that we're having that level of rigor in the classroom that we want to see. We also have individual student goal sheets where our teachers sit down with students and talk about what was your score on the 2019 STAR test and where do you want to go. We really want to focus students on individual growth. That doesn't mean that they have to make 100 and knock it out of the park on STAR. It just means that they need to grow a certain percentage for us to reach that A rating that we want. And we really want to be transparent with students on where they were and where they need to go so that they'll know exactly what the expectation is of them as well. We have classroom data walls on display. We just got them in. Actually, they're going to be up by next week, and they are large data walls where I think they're 9 foot by 3 foot. So you will not miss them when you walk in any classroom, STAR tested area in Santa Fe. At Santa Fe Junior High, you'll be able to see the growth of our students, and we also refer to it. It also has our goal of wanting to be an A and remind students that it's the focus of their individual growth. Our Plc Minutes Template is another thing that we've implemented. This makes sure that we have daily objectives in our PLC, that we know where we're going. It also has learning design. You've heard a lot about learning designs this evening, and that is our professional learning on campus for our teachers. We have a theme for our learning designs at Santa Fe Junior High, and it focuses on the value of change for continuous improvement. So every Thursday, we dig deeper into those learning designs and make sure that we talk about that change for continuous improvement. And so to make sure that we are having fun and supporting each other and collaborative while we get to our A, we want to make sure that on our campus surveys that are given, and we have our first one coming up next week, that we have an 80% or higher approval rating on all the indicators. Some of the things that we have in place is campus-wide respect agreements that you'll see in every classroom. Our students know from one classroom to another exactly what's expected of a Santa Fe Junior High Indian and have signed off on that in every classroom. We also, this has been my favorite part of the year so far, every month we have 18 students that we recognize based on the 7 mindsets of the month. And we call those students down to the office, we call their parents, their pictures displayed in our cafeteria, and they really get a big kick out of that. So that was a fun time. Just last week, we were able to make our first 18 calls to parents, as voted on by their teachers, by the way. We also, this was an interesting process. Our whole staff voted on a new mission, mission and vision and core values.
How did you coordinate that?
I know, right? Mission and vision and core values. We just came together at our first professional development day, and our teachers voted on what we actually believe in, what are our core values, then our mission, why do we come to school every day, and also our vision, where do we want to go as a staff. So we have these big banners that are being made, and they'll be displayed throughout the school as well. We had a great Indian Success Camp at the beginning of the year where our teachers reviewed with students, practiced with students what we expect of a Santa Fe Junior High Indian, what that looks like, and modeled it for them. And then they had an opportunity to practice. So, and it goes right along with our respect agreement that I referenced earlier. And then finally, our teachers are given the opportunity to go and visit other classrooms throughout each 9-week period so that they can give their peers feedback and keep fresh on new ideas for their classroom. I always say that we really underutilize the talent, not really underutilized, but sometimes we don't give opportunities for our teachers to go and see what's going on in other classrooms and implement some of the expertise of their neighbor next door right in their classroom. So we're making sure that we're giving those opportunities every 9-week period. And I believe that that is turning it over to Ms. Harris.
On the big screen.
Should I be your clicker or somebody gonna?
Are you there? I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. I hope you can see the our slides as well. I just want to tell y'all hello from the other side right now. So I can't wait to be back on Monday. So our main goal is much like your other principles. We have an instructional goal as well as a cultural goal because they definitely fit together to make the school work correctly. So our first one I'm going to discuss is one of the biggest focuses we've got for our instructional pieces, and that is improving and continuing to improve, because we worked on this last year as well, the lesson planning process and making sure our teachers know exactly how to use the lesson planning process in a continuous improvement. So it's not just repeating lessons or continuing to do lessons the same way we always have done. As you've heard several times tonight, this is the way we make instruction better, is to improve it. So we need to do that systematically. So under that, you can see we've got kind of a small win of a systematic process for not only our EOC teachers, but also our non-EOC teachers. I took a picture of what we just recently did in our English 3, and that's a non-EOC class, and sometimes can get forgotten, but we don't want to forget that. And so this is a process we've done with our EOC teachers, but now our non-EOC teachers are working through this process. And I know it looks very convoluted, that picture does, but there's a lot of thinking and a lot of preparation behind that. Teachers basically did a lot of data work on what kids really needed to know, what was most important to learn and before they left this unit, and even did an analysis of what their highest students should be prepared to leave with and what their lowest students should be prepared to leave with. So they even pushed the highest students, and that's a really great thing. I was really proud of them. After that, then they plan better, and the lessons that they come up with are much more focused and objective driven. To also incorporate more rigor, learning styles, and engagement, we're going to incorporate a survey with our students this year. And this will be an individual survey. This is something unique. We've never done it at the high school, so we're kind of excited about it. We'll see how it plays out. Let y'all know at the end of school how this helps. But we do think it will definitely inform our teachers about their own instruction. So the survey, as you can see, their questions are: was I challenged in class? I felt comfortable asking questions. My teacher had high expectations. Things like that. Those are the types of questions that students will be asked. It will not be an overall survey that's done to be addressing all 7 of their teachers, but each teacher will give this survey for their own class, and they will view the data and then see, because lots of times teachers think, man, that lesson that I gave kids was super, super hard. And the kids will say, no, it really wasn't. And so that would inform the teacher on that they needed to increase the rigor, or they might be the reverse and not move so fast. So we're hoping that will help our teachers improve their instruction. Okay, teachers and staff. The next one is a cultural goal, because we do need to support that as well. One of the things that we've noticed this year, and it is unique, not unique to this year, but is even more important this year, is to create very, very clear procedures and expectations for our staff. So right now they're in a completely new world of learning, and so that can be very stressful and overwhelming. And so what we're going to try to do, and we've been doing, is trying to make sure that we give them exactly what the expectations are, so that they know, okay, I'm headed in the right direction. This is, or no, I'm not. I need to move to the left or to the right. And that's very difficult in this new world. So we're working overtime to make sure that we do that for our staff. Another thing that we're really tackling at the high school this year is our communication. And we started this last year, at the end of last year, making some adjustments to parent communication. But I took a picture of what is our date, as a pretty much a weekly log for our teachers. They report to our administration weekly who they're talking to, so that we can kind of watch a progression of each teacher that we appraise. You get them weekly, so that we can watch each week to make sure that the communication is going out and being answered in an appropriate manner. So we've had a lot less complaints at the high school as far as communication. So I think it's been successful, but we'll see overall at the end of the year how this log helps our teachers stay on top of it. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope you can see in conclusion to all of that. I know that it was just a small little short snippet and summary, but we have a fine group of practitioners amongst us. And that is one of the things that I can say, especially being here as long as I've been here, from the classroom to administration, seeing people grow within this particular district, from taking it from, just every day, hey, we're going to meet, we're going to plan, and now actually getting into the depth and the practice of learning. It's been incredible. And we took these board goals after last year, and we readjusted to make certain that all of us are looking at every little gap and making certain that those are closed. So we're looking forward. Sometimes you get a little bit reluctant to talk about review of mid-year goals, but we're actually looking forward to it, because we definitely do believe you're going to see the mark move as we continue to show growth and strengthen ourselves and our practice. And our kids are worth it. So without further ado, the Texas Education Code, Section 11.251, requires each local education agency to develop both district and campus improvement plans. These plans are the primary records supporting expenditures attributed to the state compensatory education program in Title I, Part A program. Additionally, Texas Education Code Section 11.251 requires that the SBOE, State Board of Education, ensure that the LEA and all campus plans be developed, reviewed, and revised annually for the purpose of improving the performance of all students. Annual board approval must ensure that the district and campus plans are mutually supportive to accomplish the district's mission and board goals. These documents are living documents and will continue to be updated by district and campus personnel throughout the school year to ensure they are reflective of the current actions and plans of the district and each campus. The district improvement plan is reviewed and approved by DEIC, and campus improvement plans are reviewed and approved by each campus improvement team. Please consider and approve the 2020-2021 SFISD improvement plan and all SFISD campus improvement plans as presented.
Before we do that, I just want to say thank you to all of y'all, because I'll be honest, last year we went through the same process, and y'all set goals that I quietly sat back and said, I think you're probably setting them a little too high. and y'all blew past them. Great work. The problem you have now is you've proved to all of us that you can do it. So now we're going to expect the same thing.
We like the
But
challenge.
like Mr. Payne said, I agree. Set the bar high. And that's the way I look at everything. Set it as high as you can. And if you get really, really close, you still ended up with a really good product, even though you didn't technically meet the goal. So great job, everybody. And look forward to another good mid-year review, hopefully.
On all that, are you gonna make a motion?
Well, hold on real quick. I got a comment real quick on that. On the heels of that, ditto what Mr. Grassmonk just said, but just so that the campus leadership knows, and obviously Ms. Ross and everybody in your team that's gotten to this point. We've had multiple discussions up here, but we want everybody to know that we support and give y'all the authorizations to make it all happen. So you have that from us. And obviously, we want y'all to know that as day and day goes by, do what you got to do to make, the best quote I just wrote down of tonight, and we haven't even got through the rest of the meeting, is our kids are worth it. And I wrote down Kim Ross. So it is 100% worth it. And y'all have our support.
He was the last one to talk. He's going to make the motion now.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we consider and approve the 2020-2021 Santa Fe ISD Improvement Plan and all Santa Fe ISD campus improvement plans as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the district and campus improvement plans. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Nope, it is unanimous. Thank y'all very much. Our next agenda item is our legislative priorities that the Galveston County Schools Consortium Group has worked on. I mentioned those a meeting or two before. As we go into a legislative session, the Galveston County Schools some years ago decided to try to get together and come up with some goals that as a team, as a county, could go to our representative state senator, and these are things that are of high priority. There are others that do the same. TASB does it, the regions do it, and all that. But this team has met a couple of times. The superintendents meet on a very regular basis. The board presidents were invited to participate in the meeting recently to go over these. And there are a lot of things that you'd like to see happen, but you have to be realistic in a legislative session. There's only so many that are going to get any traction at all. And then of those that get traction, there's a lot of them that won't get any action when it comes to the final time. So just know that we've been working real hard on that. And as Dr. Wall is going to talk just a little bit about the priorities that the Galveston County team has come up with. And then we as a board hopefully approve them to move forward.
Thank you. So as we look forward to the session, they'll be opening in January. As Mr. Norman said, it's important for us to advocate for our students and for funding for our students and for resources for our students and all that's needed to provide them a excellent, high quality education. So in looking at the current state of Texas and education, we prioritize 4 areas. One is inspiring college and career readiness through online or in-person learning as a part of successful public education system. And this is an important part, supporting it with full funding in whatever modes of instruction our students are selecting. Advocating for additional resources necessary to assist innovative districts who are impacted by prolonged events such as hurricanes, tornadoes, and other major disasters. And that means building into the funding formulas opportunities for the state to support that, and also our federal government that sends resources that way to allocate them through the state funding. Opposing new legislation, which adds additional burden already on our education, our educators and our institutions, and that's with resources with people and also with funding. And finally, to establish a comprehensive accountability system that looks beyond high stakes multiple choice tests. And we've talked about this for many, many years, to meaningful assessments that have value for students, parents, and teachers, as well as flexible measures valued by local communities. So we will again be working with our legislators, our representatives, as we begin the session to support our students and our teachers.
Any questions from anyone?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the adoption of the Galveston County Schools Consortium 2021 legislative priorities.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the Galveston County Schools Consortium legislative priorities. Again, any other questions? Not all those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? No, it was unanimous. Okay, thank you very much.
Did we move the budget amendment or did we skip it?
That was in the consent agenda.
It's part of the consent.
What was?
Budget amendment.
Yes, we did.
It was listed separately. Oh, never mind.
But we're fixing to talk about taxes. Ms. Townsend?
So as we're talking about our revenue stream, of course, we know that our complete revenue is made up part of state funding as well as our local generated taxes revenue. So this is our local piece. So each year we get to approve, we ask the board to approve the tax roll. So this is the 2020 tax roll, which gives us the total levy, which includes our general fund, which is our operating, which pays our staff, which does many things to keep the operation of the district, and then our debt service, which pays our debt. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them. And this is from the Galveston Central Appraisal District.
Any questions?
President, I move that we approve the 2020 tax roll and recognize compliance with the Texas Property Tax Code. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the 2020 tax roll and this compliance. Any other questions? Not all those in favor, raise your hands. Any opposed? No, it is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Atkins. Had some HVAC work.
Yes, sir. So part of the new construction at the high school is we need to do testing and balancing of the HVAC system. This includes the testing and balancing of the new air handlers that we're adding to the system, to the new addition. Also testing and balancing the hydronics for the whole school, not just the addition, but the entire school to, one, make sure we're getting the cold water where we need it so it properly cools the school in the new addition. Two, we also think we have some flow issues, so we're hoping we can identify that and come up with a solution for that as well at the same time. So that's why we're looking at the whole school on the hydronic side. On the air side, we are just looking at the new addition. EAB is a company we've worked with on many projects. They helped us at Barnett. They helped us back in the 2008 bond do a lot of our projects. They're a really reputable company and they do a good job. They come in and make sure our systems work the way they're designed.
Any questions for Bob?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the engineer air balance proposal to provide testing and balancing services for the existing and new HVAC system at the high school, new addition at a cost not to exceed $26,860.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the air balance proposal. Any other questions? Not all those in favor, raise your hands. Any opposed? Nope, it is unanimous.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Davenport, you have a few items for. The first one is the employee compensation during the storm.
Yes, sir. To promote employee morale and retention, the district is proposing a resolution to compensate employees for workdays missed as a result of inclement weather and tropical storm conditions, which serves a public purpose in the continued retention of employees. According to board policy DEA local, the board is within its right to choose to pay employees during an emergency closure for which the workdays are not scheduled to be made up at a later date. The authorization shall be a resolution or other board action and shall reflect the purpose served by the expenditure. In addition, the administration is requesting that by the same resolution, the board grant authority to the administration to compensate certain employees who worked during the tropical storm and recovery in order to ensure and expedite the safe opening of schools. I move that the board approve the resolution for compensation of employees during Tropical Storm Beta, which serves as a public purpose in the continued retention and morale for such employees and in ensuring efficient and expeditious opening of schools.
Can I second that?
Second.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve the resolution for the compensation of the employees during Tropical Storm Beta, which serves as a public purpose and the continued retention and morale for such employees and ensuring efficient, expeditious opening of schools.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution for the compensation. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? No, it is passed unanimously. Okay, now you have a Support Professionals Day proclamation.
Yes, sir. National Education Support Professionals Day is November 18th, 2020. This day is set aside to recognize, honor, and thank our personnel in food services, clerical services, transportation services, health and student services, technical services, custodial and maintenance services, paraeducators, and security services. Our education support professionals take great pride in using their numerous skills, which are rooted in human relations, communications, verbal presentations, technical knowledge, use of resources, and positive personality traits. These education support professionals are essential partners in our district and are often the first people our students encounter on a daily basis. I move that the board proclaim November 18th, 2020 as National Educational Support Professionals Day in Santa Fe ISD.
Mr. President, I move that the board proclaim November 18th, 2020 as National Educational Support Professionals Day in Santa Fe ISD.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the proclamation for National Education Support Professionals Day. Any questions? Not all those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? No, it is passed unanimously. Okay, we have the Parental Involvement Day proclamation.
Yes, sir. National Parental Involvement Day is November 19th, 2020. This day is set aside to recognize, honor, and thank our parents in Santa Fe ISD. Parent engagement focused on supporting the learning process, both at school and at home, has never become more critical in increasing overall student achievement. SFISD takes great pride in honoring the powerful contribution that parents and caregivers make to support the success of students and to reinforce the awareness of the invaluable role that parents and caregivers play in supporting student learning and public education. I move that the board proclaim November 19th, 2020 as National Parental Involvement Day in Santa Fe ISD.
Mr. President, I move the board proclaim November 19, 2020 as National Parental Involvement Day in Santa Fe ISD.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the proclamation for National Parent Involvement Day. Any questions? Not all those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? No, it is passed unanimously. Okay, you have one more, the School Psychology Awareness Week proclamation.
Yes, National School Psychology Awareness Week is November 9th through the 13th, 2020. This year's theme is the power of possibility. The goal is to highlight how taking small steps can build greater successes and develops the academic and social emotional skills students need to promote personal achievement, growth, and resilience as a sense of belonging and well-being. School psychologists play a vital role in the personal and academic development of our students and are trained to assess student and school-based barriers to learning, as well as individual strengths, utilize data-based decision-making, implement research-driven prevention and intervention strategies, and evaluate outcomes and improve accountability. LSSPs for SFISD are Maricel Melgen, Nicole White, Robin Treat, and Sandra Zarang, and our wellness counselors are Sandra Zarang, Kimberly Pruitt, and Stephen Rucker. I move that the board proclaim the week of November 9th through the 13th, 2020 as National School Psychology Week in Santa Fe ISD.
Mr. President, I move that the board proclaim the week of November 9th through the 13th, 2020 as National School Psychology Week in Santa Fe ISD.
I second it.
It's been moved and second that we approve the proclamation for National School Psychology Week. Any questions? Not all those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? It is passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That concludes our regular agenda items. So we will now move into some board communication. Ms. Townsend, I'll start with you.
Well, we want to say congratulations to the Transportation Department. A shout out to them and their hard work. I know with Mark and his team, his administrative team, and all the drivers and monitors, mechanics, every one of them have pulled together to really look at the accident committee and look at all the different accidents that have happened over the past years and to really strive for an accident-free year. And they have successfully completed 365 days accident-free. So we're very, very proud of them.
Knock on wood.
With our insurance as it comes due in the future, maybe not immediate, but definitely in the future it will happen. So just kudos to every one of the drivers, every one of the mechanics, the office staff, the dispatchers, the routing, Mark and Lewis and their team, and all the efforts that they have put as their number one priority is safety of students and getting students to school. Certainly appreciate them.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Atkins. This answer?
Well, I have several things, but I'm
Imagine
going to
that.
start by just thanking Dr. Wall and the board for their belief and trust in all of us to do our jobs on a daily basis in the best interest of the students, the staff, the district, and the community. I really thank you for that. I'd like to thank the principals, all of them, including Rachel, for your leadership on the campus. It's definitely very much appreciated, and congratulations on National Principals Month. And then lastly, I just want to thank the staff, because throughout the district, whether it's on a campus or in a department, we realize from an HR perspective that our staff is working tirelessly every day for our students, working with parents, and it's not gone unnoticed. And I just want to thank them from the bottom of my heart about how hard they're working in this district. And then lastly, I do want to draw your attention to the November calendar that we left with you. But I also want to point out that we found out just today that on the October 30th calendar, when we host Nederland, that will be the band and Trouble Bells Senior Night. So that was not listed on your calendar for October, but just wanted to point that out. And then that's all that I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Ross?
Yes. Well, I would like to also extend, happy National Principals Month. These guys as well, like when Patty says that everyone works tirelessly, it takes a really strong leader. And I can tell you these groups of folks, I went to dinner with two of them right before the meeting. And like I said, with gritted teeth, we sometimes will have, maybe some adversarial thoughts on some of the plans that you're pushing us to do, but we know that the best interest is at heart and we're going to get it done, and we do. And they've really just done a great job. So, those teachers are working hard, and I have to tell you, those principals have been on a never-ending trend since about March. So really and truly thank you guys for what you do. Secondly, I just want to say we've already ended up with 1 9-week now, believe it or not. A quarter of our year is already over. Just FYI for community and all of you in here as well, we're going to be reaching out, making some phone calls to families to provide a line of support to extend for some of those families who may have committed into the second 9 weeks of virtual learning to potentially reconsider coming back. There's a lot of components and provisions that we've looked at, including some from board policy with grading, and we're going to do our best to see what we can do to get a few of those learners back here to make certain that we're giving them the most support we possibly can. We're doing all we can, for virtual learners, but some of our students, we've seen after 9 weeks that they really just maybe needs more of that one-on-one, face-to-face time. So we're going to be making calls and sending out some communication in order to re-invite those folks back if they choose to go back.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Wall, you
Yes,
have anything
sir.
for us this evening?
Yes, sir. First of all, is Rachel on the big screen? Is she still with us? I know she fixed her hair earlier, so I just want to make sure we get to see
You
her
out
in
there,
person.
Rachel?
But if not, maybe she can be listening as
Must
well.
not have won it.
So I have to also reiterate the appreciation. I am always impressed and inspired by the hard work and the work that goes into every department in creating the goals and outcomes, high expectations for our students in Santa Fe ISD. So appreciate the hard work. I have no doubt that the lofty goals that we have established for ourselves and for our students will be attained with a team that is as committed to continuous improvement, high expectations, and student outcomes as you all are. And so with that's greatly appreciated. Also blessed, as I always say, to be a part of this team that focuses so much, and this team meaning our entire district, our staff, our school board, our leaders, our teachers, and every support staff that we have that truly cares, truly believes that our students are worth it, and that we work every day for that reason, and we show up here for that reason. So many thanks to all of you. Also like to take a moment this evening to share with the board that my intent to retire at the end of or after the completion of this very successful school year, and give them the opportunity to have ample time to find the next leader for Santa Fe ISD. However, as you guys all looked at today, we've only completed a quarter of this year, so we have much more work to do and many goals to accomplish. And so I am committed to ensuring that we're all working together to make that happen. As always, it's an honor to be a part of this team that focuses on the very best for the students and creating the very best future for the students. So I thank you all for your continued work and for the much work that we're going to continue to do for the next several months. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, you have anything you'd like to add tonight?
Well, that's hard to follow, but as you all know, we're in an election year, and I might not be here next month, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I just want to thank you, Dr. Wall, for the growth you've given me throughout these last 4 years. It's been a lot, and proud of the work you've done, and I appreciate you. And not to extenuate on it. Hopefully, I'm here later where I can extenuate on that. But watching the principals present, thank you everybody presenting, all the electronic and in person. But the best thing about tonight was looking over at Kim's face the whole time, because just ear to ear smiling. And I know she's proud of you all, and I'm proud of you all, and I'm proud to be a part of this district for the last 4 years. And all of the district. I mean, not just the teachers and principals and admin, but the entire district. And you all seem to supersede our expectations, and that's all I can ask for up here. So thank you all. Hope to see you next month.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Davenport.
First of all, thank you to all of y'all for attending. Mr. Crable, thank you for joining us this evening. Couple of things kind of on the heels of some of the things that have gone on the first 9 weeks. The preliminary data that you've given to us over the last little bit of time here. So encouraged about the data that we're seeing come in. So it only gives me an opportunity to look forward to what happens next after the second 9 weeks is over. So, you know, I kind of like what Mr. Grassmuck said earlier this evening was didn't know what to expect with COVID and with the digital learning things of that nature, the hybrid. But every day it seems to be a little bit stronger feeling that things are going so well and we're moving them in the right direction. So my hat's off to everyone that has a part in doing that and making it all happen. This is our first time really to see Dr. Atkins and see, you know, you present and everything else with us. I'm really encouraged. So you have a long, tall task ahead of you at the junior high, but I feel like you're the right person for it. So thank you for everything that you're doing. And obviously all the other elementary school teachers, Mr. Payne, you know, great first start to yours, as well as Michelle and Destiny. So thank you so much for that. And I know Ms. Harris is out there, but we appreciate everything for all campus levels and also all the directors that make this possible for all of Santa Fe ISD. Like Mr. Kelly said and Dr. Wall said, we do have a lot ahead of us. a lot of goals to still reach for and achieve and to move forward. So obviously, we appreciate your time and service and tenure with us and the leadership that you've had, Dr. Wall, with us. One of the coolest things that, and I've already mentioned this to you, but I'll let everybody else know in the community. Not only is the team of 8 the way it's structured, we set the goals for Dr. Wall, and Dr. Wall then pushes it down. But one of the coolest things for me in the last 4 years, and hopefully I get another 4 years, but I got to become a student of an educator. So that was one of the coolest things for me. So thank you for your service of educating me as well. And with that being said, I still got to end with our kids are worth it. It's made an impact on me, and that's it's still the coolest thing that I've heard in terms of the presentations tonight, and I truly believe in that. So whether the ones that are in the election get to come up and continue to be part of this or not, I just hope the baton is passed to those that are coming behind us or with us, that the kids are worth it. So, and we continue that march. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a safe drive home, and I'll turn it over to whoever's next.
Thank you, sir.
Can I go? Can I go last? Yes. I'm always last. I'm in a little kid seat. But that's okay. You picked the right guy for that. No, I want to thank y'all too. Great job on the presentation. And like Mr. Davenport and Mr. Grassmonk were saying, as far as y'all's, we have our support, whether that be good, bad, any roadblocks you put. That's a community involvement. It can't always fall on your shoulders. You've got to have the support at home. And there's, when you have those tough situations where you're not required to put up with things like that. So whatever you have, we are here for your support. So you're welcome to, we'll carry the load on our shoulders. That's not your job. You're there to teach the kids and be with the teachers. So I thank y'all for everything.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Snyder?
I got a few things. Believe it or not, it might take me a little bit here. I'm gonna try to hurry it up. It's my last board. Oh, I know. It's my last board meeting. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Wall for her leadership. Next, I want to thank y'all. I saw my son this weekend. And every time I look at him, he's 5 hours from his Aggie ring. That's his biggest goal in his life. His biggest goal is to get the Aggie diploma. The point I'm making is y'all done a great job. My son is part of the art program. This ain't about John. It's about how hard y'all work. If these parents would get involved and do their thing, they have the same thing. I look at John every day and I go, he's proud of being an Indian. He wants to come back here and teach and coach. Maybe his dream will come true. But I want to personally thank all y'all. The presenters tonight, Santa Fe's in good hands. I didn't get on here for the ego, whatever. I got on here because you know what? Y'all been great to my family. And I want to thank y'all, every one of y'all, for what y'all been through the last 4 years. Forget about me. What y'all been in the last 4 years, it's a tragedy. But you know what? We made it. Well, y'all made it. I made it too. But you wouldn't have done it without leadership like Dr. Wall. And that's the spirit in the story. And, I just want to thank the board. I've known Clay. We've all played, we coached baseball against each other. We've all done everything, played sports, whatever. Now, I had the honor of serving on the board with some great people. And I want to personally thank y'all. I walk away with my head held high. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Logan?
All right, on that note, I do want to thank all y'all for everything presented tonight was great. Thank y'all all. Continue the hard work. I know it's hard. Hopefully it gets easier, but we never know. Way 2020's been. Thank you, Matt, for you've been showing up here. I mean, it shows interest that you're really interested in doing this. Thank you very much. I've seen you the last 2 or 3 of them, so thank you. Miss Sandra, you're always sitting back there in the corner. Thank you. Thank all of y'all for everything.
Sir, Mr. Grassmonk?
We're here if you need us. I mean, y'all set goals last year. Like I said, you blew through them. You set them again this year. I fully expect y'all to reach them. You don't need, I'm not capable of telling you how to do your job to begin with, and it's not my job as a board member to do so anyway. So my job is to take care of problems when they get in your way. So if you need help, let us know. Otherwise, continue on.
Thank you, sir. Okay, a few items. Again, can't thank y'all enough for all the hard work. And I mean, these district and campus improvement plans are just a piece of all the work that has gone on, but appreciate all that effort. It's important to me, and I think in listening to y'all speak, by the time this Porsche got through, I had it in my mind, you know, these elementary campuses are very well aligned because they talked about certain things across the board, and then they talked about some things individually for their campuses, but it's very obvious that these elementary schools are aligned. What's even more obvious to me is that it moves right up the ladder. It's to ensure a successful transition into junior high and then on to high school. And you can tell by listening to y'all that you repeated a few things across the board, but then you also expounded and expanded on a few things. And I think that's very important that the team is lined from pre-K and K all the way till they walk across that stage and receive that diploma. So I appreciate that very much. And again, we support you in any way we can. Mr. Snyder, I know you're hopefully going to be here at least the first part of the next meeting, but thank you for your time on the board. Dr. Wall, for those of you that you won't know it, you couldn't have known it, but I've been having this conversation as board president with her about her future for over 3 years now. And I knew this day was coming, known it for quite a while. Didn't know the exact date, but I knew pretty close that it was coming. And I can tell you, as part of the board that approved hiring you as a high school principal many years ago, and then as
14.
part of the board
14.
that made the decision to hire you as superintendent, I do not regret either one of those decisions in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And the biggest reason I don't regret them is because of your commitment. And I know the reason I'm telling you that now is that I know she's committed to see this year through the end of the school year. So if anyone here or listening virtually thinks that it's going to be time to back off just a little bit because the superintendent's leaving, I got news for you. I know her commitment is not going to allow that to happen, because over and over and over again, she's demonstrated that she's committed to this district. So it is business going forward. It is not a farewell right now for the next 6 months to the superintendent. So I want everybody to understand that.
We'll make that real clear, right?
Very much so.
It's a team to do it, though. They are committed as well.
Now, to my current board members and to those potential new members, however the election comes out, I will tell you, you've been down this road, and probably one of your biggest challenges and your most important job is fixing to be ahead of you and picking the next leader for this district. So get prepared, because there's a lot of work coming to do this. A new superintendent just does not appear. There's a lot of work that will take place. We will be soliciting help from the outside in the selection process, and a lot coming. So be prepared for some potential special meetings and things, interviewing selection groups and that type of thing. So just know that the challenge is out there, but it's a very rewarding one. Just know it's coming. With that, again, thank you to everyone, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can we borrow some Red Bull from Harold first before we go through that?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We adjourn. Is there anyone against that? And we are adjourned. Thank you all.